Al, it is a dark day in the annals of Jared and Al watch Inuyasha.
No, it's a great day.
It is a dark day.
Great day.
We've lost the best opening that has possibly ever been heard in an anime.
Why are you lying to the people?
I would never lie.
Why are you lying to the people?
When have I ever lied on this podcast?
Literally right now.
That's debatable.
Literally just now you lied to the people on the podcast.
I don't know about that.
It is a bright and happy day. It is a day of change. It is a day of happiness.
It is a day.
It is a day.
That is indeed true. Hello, welcome to this week's episode of Jared Now Watch Inuyasha. It is episode number, what is this, 35?
35.
It is 35. I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Lady M.
Hello.
We are discussing season 2, episode number 8, or episode 35, called The True Owner of the Great Sword. And as we have mentioned, we finally got the second opening of Inuyasha, which is actually an opening. So, you feel like you're watching an early 2000s show now, because you got all those, like, whoosh sound effects in the opening, and that's just like the hallmark of shonen shows of that era. And it's like, oh right, openings can have lyrics and music and stuff like that.
Yep.
And sound effects.
Yep.
A big change from what we're used to.
Oh boy. Ugh, I'm so glad that we're rid of the battle theme as the opening. Terrible. Rip to change the world.
That we never even got to hear.
No. So much ripping.
Ripping and tearing.
I mean, that's fun.
It's true. Who doesn't love to do that? Anyways, we basically picked this episode up right after the end of last week's episode, where Inuyasha and Sesshomaru are fighting it out. Sesshomaru's got his dragon claw. It's basically just like, you can't beat me. I got this dragon claw. And Inuyasha's like,
Bunk, 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 bunk.
bunk, bunk.
Gonna bunk that sword a lot.
Mm-hmm. Totosai is just sitting there still talking smack to Inuyasha, and he's like, well, he's got to use the wind scar.
Go figure that out,
But he doesn't know how, because he's a dummy.
Gonna die.
Kagome or someone's like, why don't you just teach him? He's like, well, I can't. He's got to learn it himself.
Yep.
Because he's a dummy.
Yep.
So they just keep fighting, and Inuyasha basically realizes that Sesshomaru's like fighting against Tessaiga itself.
Yeah, he's not fighting against Inuyasha. He's fighting against the sword.
He's like, I'm just going to beat the crap out of the sword.
Trying to break it.
So everyone starts to realize, like, oh, this is bad. He might break the sword, and that's real not good. Sango tries to come in, and Yasha's like, no, I will do it.
This is my fight. Go away.
And Inuyasha gets messed up a little bit, but then eventually he's like, oh, I can see the winds.
Well, he gets bonked in the face.
Oh, yeah, he gets punched in the face, and then Sesshomaru's like, oh, is that what you're trying to do? That's not good.
He gets blinded.
And then he's like, I can see the wind. I'm going to go where this wind is, this fissure, and I'm going to attack it. And then he's able to really mess up Sesshomaru, but you see Tessaiga kind of like react
Protect
and it's
him.
like
Little I don't know what I was gonna say. It's a little protective shell thing.
yeah, and then he just yeets away.
Yep.
Moroku's like, oh, he's probably gone.
He's
Sesshomaru's dead. Totosai's like, nah.
Nah, he's still alive.
You didn't actually hit him, did you? And Inuyasha's like, yeah.
He just kind of disappeared.
Yeah.
He was just
like,
gone.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah. And then they're also like, well, how are we going to defeat him if Tessaiga can constantly save him? Like, that seems like a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
So that's something they got to figure out.
Also, Totosai ends up like
just leaving.
Well, he fixes the Tessaiga.
Yeah, he sharpens it up, and then it's just like, all right, I'm out of here. I don't care. Get out.
Yep.
I'm leaving. I did my part. Sesshomaru decides to lounge in the forest. And then this young girl's like looking at him. He's like, "Arr." And then he's like, oh, just a young girl. Whatever. I'm just gonna go back, sit back and lounge.
Go away, child.
Hey,
I don't eat human food.
relaxing.
Yeah, he does
Mind
look
your
like he's chilling.
business. The girl tries to catch a fish out of the water, and then some men come up and just beat the crap out of her.
Yep.
And then she just walks away.
You find out that she's an orphan. That
An orphan.
Her parents were murdered in front of her, and she's mute.
Mm-hmm. And then she goes to give more stuff to Sesshomaru, and he's like, "Hey, why do you have bruises? What's up with that?"
I mean, you don't have to tell me or anything, but like,
Well, he doesn't notice she doesn't talk, so he's like, "Oh, she just keeps saying sounds. I guess she doesn't want to say anything."
Yep.
And then she smiles a bit, and he's like, all right."
All right.
She goes back to this village and goes into a hut. There's like some weird old dude there who's like drinking water, and he's like, "Is this your hut?" And then a bunch of screams happen. He's like, "Oh no, wolves!" He gets taken down by the wolves, and then the leader of their pack shows up and is like, "Hey, give me your sacred jewel shard." And he takes it, and then he's like, "All right, wolves, have fun."
Have fun. Eat all the people.
And then Ren's like, "I gotta go."
I don't want to be food.
She exits stage right, pursued by wolves.
Basically, yes. It's a good way to put it.
And then they catch up to her, though.
Yep.
Meanwhile, Jockin's off on a two-headed steed and is like, "Lord Sesshomaru, where are you? Wait a minute, was he trying to kill me with the Tessaiga? Why do I need to go after him?" And then he does the love me not thing on flowers, but with like, he was testing the sword or he was teasing me.
Yep.
And then he gets real mad, and then he gets bonked with a rock, and it's Sesshomaru's like, "Wow, I'm glad you really did all your work to come find me, huh?"
Yep.
And then Jockin's like, "Were you trying to test the sword on me?" And then he's like, "I didn't realize I was going to get an interrogation when I came back." And then he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." And then he just gets bonked on with a rock again.
Yep.
And then Sesshomaru like smells blood, and he's like, "That's weird. I smell blood.
Blood.
I recognize his blood. Also wolves. That's real weird." So they go into the woods, and they find Ren there just lying in a pool of blood.
She's dead. And
Definitely
Jockin's like,
dead.
"Man, that's dead. You have
Super
bad
dead."
days."
And then Sesshomaru's like, "Yes, it is time to devise a new test, clearly."
Oh, yes, a test.
Yeah, Jockin's like, "Huh?" Sesshomaru sees, like, I guess, like, little dudes from the underworld trying to take her body or something.
Yes.
And he's like, "All right." Yoop. Cuts him up, and then magically she's alive again. And Jockin this whole time is just like, "Huh? What just happened?"
So it wasn't a guarantee that I was going to live when you slashed me, because you said this is a test too.
Also, like, he does that, and then he just puts the sword away, and then just walks back
Yeah.
to where, like, the two-headed steed is. And he's just like, doesn't say a word. He's like, "All right, later."
Nope. And the Ren's like, "Well, I guess I'm following you guys."
Yep.
So this is the story of how Jockin ended up getting a child.
It's weird.
Yep.
Inuyasha and crew go to that village that was slaughtered by the wolves, and Kagome's like, "I feel there's a jewel shard around here. That's weird."
Oh, one thing before we skip to that is that he actually just like says the sword did it.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Yeah, the sword made me keep her alive. It wasn't me. I didn't make that choice.
No, I was just performing a test.
Why would I make that choice? Why would I save a human?
Yeah, I'm not turning into a good guy.
Dumb
Ish.
sword. Dumb sword.
Yeah, dumb sword. Stupid sword.
Super sword.
Ugh,
I didn't ask to save a
gosh.
human."
Yeah. Tsundere Sesshomaru.
Yep, basically.
So yeah,
Right, now
the crew's
Kagome.
in the village. And then I think Moroku's like, "It's a massacre."
It's a massacre. It was either him or it was Sango. I'm not
Songo,
sure
one of the
which.
two, yeah. So yeah, there's like, "Man, this is messed up." And then one of the wolves comes around, and Inuyasha's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill you." And then the other ones are like, "Oh!" And they're like, "Are they just calling they're calling the pack?" And Gome's like, "I feel the jewel shards coming real quick." And then like a tornado comes.
Yep.
And he's like, "Hey, what's up?" And Gome's like, "Oh my gosh, he's got 3 jewel shards. Oh no!" And then that's the episode ending.
Yes.
I'm glad we get another character that has ties to Gundam Wing and Inuyasha because they basically use the same studio in Gundam Wing as well. So there you go.
Wait, who do we have that's gonna win?
Koga is also the guy who plays Koga. Which, if you've never seen what this dude looks like, you should look up his Wikipedia page because it is a sight to see.
Oh no.
But he plays a duo in Gundam Wing, who's the long haired dude, long ponytailed dude who pilots the Gundam Death Scythe, and he calls himself the God of Death.
Oh my god.
Look, 10-year-old Jared thought that was the coolest character in the history of fiction.
I bet he did. Oh my god.
Yep.
Why does he look like Bret Michaels?
I know, it's perfect. Like, you're just like, hey, this guy should have been in a hair metal band.
Why isn't he in a hair metal band?
He just voices anime and cartoons.
Koga?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. Yep. That's hysterical. Oh wow.
It's real funny.
That's super funny. Oh my god.
So there you go.
Now I have to live with that information in my life.
Yep, you sure do.
All right.
All right. Anyways, let's talk about Note.
Note.
There are multiple here, but it just says Note.
Note.
This episode, like the manga, marks the first appearance of Koga, who would serve as a supporting character for the rest of the series.
Why didn't they mention Ren, who...
She doesn't matter. We do see her at the end here, I guess, but she's small. Doesn't count.
But she's still a recurring character that is in the rest of the series, so...
No, just Koga.
Okay, well, Koga is an important character, so there's that.
In the manga, Todesai stated Inuyasha held back on his swing when he used the wind scar because he couldn't bring himself to kill his own brother, no matter how much he hated him and even though he tried to kill Inuyasha. Inuyasha, embarrassed by this, claims Sesshomaru's poison numbed his body, preventing him from swinging with his full power. In the anime, there's no mention of this. Also in the manga, Todesai stated had Inuyasha tried to kill Sesshomaru with his full power, Todesai would have broken Tessaiga. This was likely removed due to the later plot revealing Tessaiga is essential to keeping Inuyasha's demon side from taking over.
Woo!
Well, now we know that.
Yeah, but that doesn't... Anyway, moving on.
Also in this episode, Rin is mute. After being revived by Tessaiga in the rest of the series, she can talk. Spoilers, much to Jockin's despair.
I think that's just some editorializing there.
I mean, I feel like Jockin is just despairing at all times, so...
I feel like Jockin is basically just like anxiety incarnate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. But yeah, now he has a kid to raise, and we have Koga, who has 3 jewel shards and is speedy.
Jockin did not sign up for this. He
Jockin
just wanted to hang out with Sesshomaru, which I don't know if he really wanted to, but
he's in the service of me lord.
Me lord.
He never asked to raise a child.
Nope. That's not in his job description.
Nope. Especially not a human child.
Although I would assume that Sesshomaru would basically be like, yeah, your job description is whatever I want you to do.
Yeah. And obviously, like, he never actually explicitly says, like, hey, you should probably help take care of this child. But he's also like, I'm not doing it, so...
Yeah.
And as I've mentioned, I have real issues with the whole, like, Rin and Sesshomaru relationship in general.
Yes. Understandable.
Real big issues with it, and this is part of why. Well, 1, she's 9. Yikes. 2, like, he never actually tries to take care of her. He like revives her and is like, all right, cool, and then just Jockin has to take care of her for the rest of the time. It's like, okay, cool. But yeah, for some reason they decided this was a good idea, and I looked it up, and actually he is in human like years 19 years old, so there's a 10-year age difference between them. And
still
obviously
gross.
10 years is different when it's like you're 30 and you're 40. Um, it is less different when you are 19 and 9,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when you meet.
Mm-hmm.
Blech.
Big blit.
Anyway, spoiler alert, those two.
Gross.
I know. It's very upsetting. Very, very upsetting.
Well, on that down note,
Hey, we're gonna get to talk about Koga and some trash talking. You ready for that?
I'm ready for that.
That's a positive note.
That's what we'll be discussing next time when we discuss episode number 36, Kagome kidnapped by Koga the Wolf Demon.
Wonder what's gonna happen in that episode.
No idea. It's a
It's
true
a mystery.
mystery. But that is going to wrap up this episode. So if you'd like more from us, head on over to seasonalanimecheckup.com or sac.cool, where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Seasonal Anime Checkup OVA. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. If you'd like more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Anime Checkup. So join us next time as we find out about the wolves and how they're basically just a Yakuza clan.